Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about investing into the stock market. I want to get into this right away. So Skechers just released earnings not too long ago, a few days ago actually, and actually revenue miss on Skechers' part. Now, why am I talking about Skechers? Well, disclosure: I'm not a shareholder of Skechers, so I don't own any stock in Skechers, but I do own a good grip of stock in one of their competitors, Crox. So Crocs does have earnings coming up here on 2 November, and that's going to play into a thesis of mine. So Skechers did have a revenue miss. Nike, revenue miss. Okay, so these shoe companies are missing on their revenue estimates for when they report earnings. So it's very possible that my company, Crocs, is going to miss on their revenue as well. Now, I want to talk about some things that are emerging with Crocs that I'm noticing. One of these new SKUs that was recently released, these cowboy boots. All right, so this is an interesting product. I think I like the way it looks. Now, I have some concerns about the actual initial SKU of these holes right here. That might serve to be a problem for the actual consumer of people that are on ranches, but that's easily fixable. I think that the Crocs management is cognizant enough to maybe fix the next SKUs coming up to adapt to provide more value to the customer. Now, let's talk about an average cost of a pair of boots. All right. So the average boot is going to be anywhere, a good pair of cowboy boots is going to be anywhere from $200 to $1,000. All right. The initial SKU launch of a Crocs cowboy boot is $120. This new launch to this sector, or this category in the actual footwear sector, is a big deal for Crocs. All right, we were not in the boot market, but this opens up a total addressable market, which, according to my research, is a little bit shy of $34 billion, according to last year's market. So the total addressable market for this boot category can add significantly to Crocs revenue if they execute properly. All right. If they capture, I did the math, if they capture 5% of the boot total addressable market, they could be sitting around 1.7 billion in annual revenue if they do that. Obviously, this is going to take some time to actually execute and do that. So something to keep in mind when considering, the launch of the boots as far as revenue contribution to the top line. All right. Now, one thing that I've noticed about the market is everything is pretty much tanking. A lot of my other companies in my portfolio are taking a hit. There seems to be some sort of market crash happening. Now, and one thing I'm noticing about that is Crocs is pretty much, my Crocs position is holding firm. Like even on the 1 month technical, or even back going maybe, about a month and a half, we've pretty much set a whole new line of support here. I think that Crocs is pretty much at the bottoming range, if you ask me. Of course, I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, but the free cash flows are so strong that I don't think the market is willing to give up more on Crocs valuation. Short interest is already nearly at 10%. another thing, and that's one of the beautiful setups about Crocs. Now, why am I invested in Crocs as averse to all these other companies? There's a obvious differentiated, distinct product when it comes to Crocs. So if you look at a Crocs shoe versus a regular shoe, there's obviously a difference. Okay, if you look at what let me see here. If you look at different boot here, like what typical boots look like as averse to Croc boots, there's a differentiated distinction. Okay, it's very obvious that's a Crocs boot product. All right, margins. All right, the profitability margins are higher than all the other companies. Um, disruptive opportunities are obviously present as well. The low valuation, strong free cash flows, the great management, all of these lead me to choose Crocs over all the other competitors. Um, so yeah, I don't think we're going to see Crocs go into the 70s, if you ask me, barring some existential crazy event like World War III. I do believe that Crocs will stay into this $80 to $90 range, at least until we have a rebound in the market. Now, what do I plan on doing with my Crocs position? I got a couple hundred shares. If you've been watching my videos, I pretty much set that. I got a set position there. If the market does tank Crocs back down to the 70s and maybe even the 60s, and the fundamentals are still whole, like they're still growing and their free cash flows are sustaining and they're beating, etc. I will reconsider and possibly start buying more and more and start accumulating. If it's a long-term setup to where I get to buy the stock for another year, I might weigh that against other opportunities in the market. I think that there is a lot of other opportunities in the market, but I think Crocs is the value for what I'm getting in the setup and everything. I may be, even though it's an overweight position in my portfolio, I may still consider that to outweigh the other benefits of all these other companies. So we're going to see what happens on November 2nd, and how Crocs does. If they beat on revenue, that's going to be that's going to be crazy. If all the other shoe companies are missing on their revenues and Crocs puts up another triple beat where they beat on EPS, revenue, and guidance, and everything's holding good, and they're pretty much announced on the next earnings that they bought back X number of or dollar amount of stock. We could see Croc stock dramatically go up real fast and get assigned another multiple, or it can just do nothing like a lot of these other companies have been doing. All right, well, that's pretty much my take on my little my little thought process on the upcoming earnings and what these other shoe companies are doing. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to that one soldier that subscribed to my video in the subway. And I hope you're watching, and I hope you gain some value out of this. If you're new here and you're seeing some value, like and subscribe. And I encourage you to go back onto prior videos, watch those, where I do more deep dive analysis on different companies and expose more of my thought process on investment ideas and so forth. Once again, hey, thank you all for your time. I hope you all had a good week, and I hope you all have a better week upcoming. Thank you, and have a good day.